Welcome to our channel. Today we dive into one of the most thrilling and encouraging stories in the Bible, the story of Daniel in the lion's den. This story is not just an ancient historical narrative. It's a profound lesson of courage, faith, and God's divine intervention that has impacted countless people throughout history. Let's take a closer look at how this story teaches us about standing firm in our faith, trusting in God's protection, and having the courage to remain true to our convictions, even in the most perilous situations. The story begins in ancient Babylon, a city renowned for its grandeur and opulence. Here Daniel, a young man from Judah, had risen to a position of influence under King Darius. Daniel's wisdom, integrity, and unwavering devotion to his God set him apart from all others in the kingdom. King Darius, recognizing Daniel's exceptional abilities, appointed him as one of the top administrators in the realm. But not everyone was pleased with Daniel's success. Jealousy began to brew among the other officials. Daniel's influence grows with each passing day. If this continues, we will be overshadowed. We must find a way to bring him down. But how? The man is blameless. If we can't find fault in his work, we'll have to target his faith. The jealous officials devised a cunning plan. Knowing that Daniel's devotion to his God was unyielding, they sought to use it against him. Your Majesty, we propose a decree to unify the kingdom. For the next 30 days, no one shall pray to any god or man except you. Violators shall be thrown into the lion's den. This will solidify your authority, O king, and ensure loyalty from your subjects. King Darius, unaware of their true intentions, signed the decree into law. According to the customs of the Medes and Persians, such laws could not be revoked. When Daniel learned of the decree, he faced a choice: abandon his daily prayers or risk death. But Daniel's faith was resolute. 3 times a day, as was his custom, he prayed to God, giving thanks and seeking guidance. Even in the face of danger, Daniel's courage shone brightly. His devotion to God remained unshaken. Your Majesty, Daniel has defied your decree. We caught him praying to his God. King Darius was deeply distressed. He admired Daniel and sought to save him, but the law was clear. Bound by his own decree, the king had no choice but to order Daniel's punishment. May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you. As night fell, the king returned to his palace, unable to eat or sleep. Meanwhile, Daniel faced the ferocious lions, armed only with his faith. In the darkest of moments, God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths. Their ferocity was subdued, and Daniel remained unharmed. Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions? Daniel calmly, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths. I am unharmed because I was found innocent in his sight. The king rejoiced, praising Daniel's God as the true and living God. He decreed that all in the kingdom should honor the God of Daniel. Justice was swift. The conspirators who sought Daniel's downfall met the fate they had planned for him. Through Daniel's courage and faith, a powerful lesson was etched into the history of Babylon. Daniel, once again free, returned to his life of prayer and service, thankful for the divine deliverance that had saved him. His faith remained steadfast, a beacon of hope for all who witnessed his trials. Let it be known throughout the kingdom that the God of Daniel is the living God. His kingdom will never be destroyed, and his dominion is eternal. The king's proclamation echoed across the land, marking a turning point in the kingdom's history. Daniel's story spread far and wide, inspiring countless generations to remain steadfast in their faith, no matter the challenges they faced. Prayer became a cornerstone of hope and courage, a reminder of the connection between humanity and the divine. The kingdom of Babylon thrived, guided by the principles of justice and faith that Daniel's story had brought to light. The story of Daniel in the lion's den transcends time, reminding us that faith and courage can overcome even the greatest adversities. From ancient Babylon to the present day, Daniel's story continues to inspire hope and resilience in the face of challenges. The story of Daniel's time in the lion's den comes to us from the book of Daniel, which is part of the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Old Testament. This account takes place during the Babylonian exile, a period when the Jewish people were taken into captivity by the Babylonians after the fall of Jerusalem. Among the captives was Daniel, a young man of noble birth who was chosen to serve in the Babylonian court because of his exceptional intellect and wisdom. However, as we will see, Daniel's story goes far beyond his time in exile. His life is a testament to the power of unwavering faith in God, even when facing immense challenges. Let's explore the various layers of this incredible tale and uncover the timeless lessons it holds for us today. To fully appreciate Daniel's story, it's important to first understand the historical backdrop. Daniel was taken to Babylon during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, a mighty king who had conquered Judah and exiled many of its people, including Daniel. However, the events of our story take place later during the reign of King Darius the Mede, who succeeded the Babylonians after the Persian Empire overtook them. This shift in empire was significant not only for the geopolitical landscape, but also for the Jewish people living in exile. Daniel, who had been raised as an Israelite, continued to rise in prominence within the Persian Empire due to his wisdom, understanding of dreams, and his outstanding administrative skills. Despite being a foreigner, Daniel had earned the trust and favor of the Persian king, Darius. The king had appointed Daniel to one of the highest positions in the empire, making him one of 3 administrators responsible for overseeing the entire kingdom. Daniel's rise to power, however, sparked envy and resentment among his fellow administrators and the satraps, or provincial governors, who were jealous of his success. They sought to find a way to bring him down. However, as we'll see, Daniel's deep devotion to God would become the very thing that led to his testing and ultimate deliverance. What makes Daniel's story so remarkable is his unwavering faith and integrity. Despite the corrupt political environment, Daniel chose to remain faithful to his God. This decision wasn't just a matter of private devotion, it was a public declaration of his belief in the God of Israel, and he made it a point to continue his daily prayers without compromise, even when faced with significant personal risk. Daniel's commitment to prayer is particularly noteworthy. His practice of praying 3 times a day, facing Jerusalem, was a powerful act of devotion. It was a way of connecting with God, seeking his guidance, and maintaining his spiritual life in the midst of a foreign and often hostile environment. Daniel's prayers were not just for personal strength, but for the welfare of his people. Even though he was in exile, his heart was still with his people in Jerusalem, and he never forgot his roots. This devotion to God, however, did not go unnoticed. The other administrators, frustrated by Daniel's growing influence and integrity, recognized that his loyalty to God was the one thing they could exploit to bring him down. They were aware that Daniel would never compromise on his faith, and so they set a trap that would force him into a difficult position. The conspirators knew that the only way to entrap Daniel was to target his relationship with God. They approached King Darius with a devious plan, proposing a royal decree that would forbid anyone in the kingdom from praying to any god or man other than King Darius for the next 30 days. The reasoning behind this was to establish the king's supreme authority, reinforcing the idea that the king was a godlike figure in the eyes of the people. Darius, flattered by the suggestion and unaware of the trap being laid, agreed to issue the decree. Once it was signed, the law could not be repealed, as the laws of the Medes and Persians were considered irrevocable. The conspirators knew that Daniel's devotion to God would lead him to defy the decree, and they wasted no time in accusing him of breaking the law. Daniel's response to the decree is nothing short of inspiring. Rather than hiding his faith or praying in secret, Daniel continued his regular practice of praying 3 times a day, facing Jerusalem. He made no attempt to conceal his devotion to God, even though he knew that this act of faith would lead to his arrest and potentially his death. The conspirators, having observed Daniel's actions, immediately reported him to King Darius. The king, devastated by the news, recognized that he had been deceived. He deeply regretted his decision to sign the decree, for he knew that Daniel was a man of integrity and that the punishment was unjust. Nevertheless, the law was the law, and Darius had no choice but to order Daniel's arrest. The punishment for disobeying the king's decree was severe. Anyone who prayed to a god or man other than the king was to be thrown into the lion's den. The lion's den was not just a form of execution. It was a brutal, horrific method of death that served to instill fear and maintain control over the kingdom. As Daniel was led to the den, the king expressed his hope that the God whom Daniel served would deliver him. But the king's words of hope were mixed with a deep sense of helplessness, as he knew there was little he could do to change the situation. Daniel's arrival at the lion's den was marked by a sense of finality. The stone entrance was rolled over the opening, sealing Daniel inside with the hungry lions. Yet in that moment of darkness and uncertainty, Daniel's faith remained unshaken. He trusted in God's ability to protect him, and he knew that, even if he were to face death, his life was in God's hands. King Darius, devastated by the turn of events, spent the entire night in anguish. He could not sleep, eat, or find rest, as his mind was consumed with thoughts of Daniel's fate. The next morning, as soon as the first light of dawn broke, the king hurried to the lion's den, hoping against hope that Daniel had survived. When King Darius reached the den, he called out to Daniel with trembling words, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" To the king's amazement, Daniel answered, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king." This miraculous deliverance left King Darius in awe. Daniel had been protected by the hand of God, and his faith had been rewarded. Not a single scratch or injury was found on Daniel, and this astonishing miracle became a testimony of God's power and faithfulness. It demonstrated that God was not only with Daniel, but had actively intervened to save him from the jaws of death. In an act of swift justice, Darius ordered that the conspirators who had falsely accused Daniel be thrown into the same lion's den. This time, the lions did not hesitate to devour them. Their swift and brutal end served as a reminder of the consequences of deceit and wickedness, while Daniel's deliverance stood as a testimony of God's righteousness and protection. After witnessing this miraculous event, King Darius issued a new decree throughout his entire kingdom. He declared that all the people should fear and revere the God of Daniel, the God who had saved him from the lions. The king proclaimed, "For he is the living God and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth." Daniel's deliverance from the lion's den not only affirmed the power of his faith, but also served as a powerful testimony to the entire Persian Empire. The king's decree testified to the truth that the God of Israel is supreme, the one true God who is worthy of all honor and reverence. Daniel's story offers us several profound lessons that resonate deeply with us today. His unshakable faith in God, even when facing certain death, is a powerful reminder that true faith is not contingent on circumstances. Regardless of the challenges we face, we can stand firm in our convictions and trust that God is with us. Daniel's refusal to compromise his beliefs, even when under pressure, teaches us the importance of maintaining integrity in a world that often calls us to compromise. Living with honesty, justice, and righteousness is an expression of our trust in God's sovereignty. Just as God protected Daniel from the lions, he promises to protect those who trust in him. No matter how perilous the situation, we can take comfort in knowing that God is our refuge and our strength. Daniel's commitment to prayer was integral to his spiritual life. It sustained him in times of trial and kept him close to God. Prayer is not only a way to communicate with God, but also a source of strength in difficult times. The story of Daniel in the lion's den demonstrates the faithfulness of God. He is always present, always working on behalf of those who trust in him, and he will never leave nor forsake us. If you were inspired by Daniel's unwavering faith and divine protection, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to our friends and family. Join us as we continue to explore the powerful stories of the Bible that offer timeless wisdom for today's world. Stay with us for more stories of courage, faith, and the unchanging love of God.